Hey everybody, welcome to Backstage with Ian and Joel. Again, we take you behind the scenes, backstage in the world of music, and we talk about all sorts of things. We're really excited. We got a special guest, our friend Adrien. He's going to talk about a lot of really cool stuff that he's involved in and has been involved in. But before we get to that, how you doing, Joel?
Oh, dude, I'm doing all right. Yeah, just been absorbing some, news, some very interesting news about live music. Trying to parse it all, and a lot of interesting things we should talk about in the future, now and in the future. With shattering of venues and
Yeah.
other alternative spaces, and I've just been really it's been consuming me a lot because I think we're gonna see a lot of changes that we're gonna have to deal with. But yeah, how are you doing, Ian?
I'm good, but that was kind of depressing.
Right. I don't know, man. I that's the show is not to be depressing, but it does get my brain, thinking about the state of what we do. It's because we love what we do. So,
Yeah.
like I said, when I'm just thinking about these things, I'm not saying, that it's all doomsday, but I think that there's going to be a lot of, let me clarify then. I think there's going to be a lot of pivoting and a lot of, mind-bending experiments to
it's a transition point where people are going to have to get creative.
Thank you. And they already are. I mean,
people have been creative, but
no,
they're going to need to,
for sure. I'm just saying that more and more now, out of necessity.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying that more and more out of necessity, you're seeing alternate spaces for shows.
Yeah.
I mean, really interesting ones too. And speaking of which, our guest is no stranger to that.
No,
Make stuff happen. All kinds
of today I was looking at some news stuff, and this story caught my eye. I know it's not like the most uplifting thing in the world, but it made me think about the connection between music and skating, and that's perfect for our guest today. Adrien is in both of those worlds very deeply.
Yep.
But just the fact that Billy Strings is skating between the main set and the encore. This isn't like before the show. He's still in the middle of the show, and he's like, I got to get off stage and skate. Like, that to me was fucking cool. Like, it sucks that he got hurt, and we can talk about all of that stuff. But it also got me thinking about, when we've been doing shows, it made me think of one specific memory. It's not like some crazy thing for me, but I remember doing a show for a band called The Virgins years ago, and I love this band. They had a new album out that it made me think of like Tom Petty mixed with Dire Straits and a little bit of punk rock. And I was really excited for the band, but I did not associate them with skating whatsoever.
Right.
Like, I thought they were like some indie rock, clean pop rock kind of guys. That's just the vibe I got from the album.
Yeah.
When we showed up at the venue and they loaded in, they like put their shit on stage and immediately just started skating around the club. Like, they just like had to do. They didn't care about the rest of the stuff. And I was like, that's awesome. It totally like changed my perspective on like the way that I had like prejudged who they might be based on their music.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was really cool, and it made me think about skating. And so that memory's, it's nothing crazy, but it's been stuck with me for like 15 years or something now.
I love that you bring that up, because I've got a few interesting situations that I've experienced that did the same thing for me, because I grew up in the early 80s, punk scene, JFA, skateboarding, all that stuff. And then, so I had in my head, that's what the skate scene's about. And then the first time when I started working at a Americana alternative country bar with shows, and then I saw kids that were in Americana bands, that could shred the hell out of a banjo or something. And then after sound check skateboard in the back lot, and I was like, dude, something has happened here. Everybody all of a sudden, feels it. But anyway, I don't know. I feel like we shouldn't get too far into this without our guest.
No, let's bring Adrien in right now. I'm sure he's got some cool stories to tell as well.
Oh, yes. Our man, Adrien, how are you, bud?
Doing good. Just waking up.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this for us.
At this ungodly hour. Yeah, man. So I don't know if you were able to hear what we were talking about or anything, but sorry?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So we'll start there. Ian brought up, situations with bands that you never expect to be into skating that all of a sudden, bring their boards on tour. I bet you've seen some of that and then some.
Yeah. During load-in, there's two different times that I actually played skate with the frontmen of bands.
Oh, really?
For like 1 to 2 hours.
Oh, cool.
When Executioners came through, I don't know if it was Graceland or El Corazon, whichever era that was. Buku One was opening for them on the tour from Oakland, and he's like old school OG skateboarder and total flat ground guy. So we played a game of skate, and of course he crushed me. But that was fun. Rad dude. I recently just rekindled our conversations, and trying to get him up here to perform for some skate park shit. And then Shadows Fall. There was an interesting show where two bands, In Flames and Nevermore, may or may not have dosed their bus driver with acid and showed up late. And so singer, I think his name's Brandon, Shadows Fall. Him and I played skate for like 2 hours at loading because it was just nothing to do. Dang. Luckily, all the touring band and crew had shown up with all the gear so we could set it up. So the bands just had to show up and play. That was a really fun night.
That's awesome. May I ask you, Adrien, what was your capacity like on that last story? What were you working production or what were you doing? I
was all day production that day on both days.
Okay, so you were actually working production. Probably as a stagehand or a production manager or whatever.
That day, both those days I was just all day guy. So I was, take care, load in, load out, set changes, all that, maintain the stage. Because as you very well know, I was the stage manager too. So.
Yeah, no, I know you were. Yeah, and as I don't know. It's one thing Ian and I are going to be spending the next few episodes conveying, but what we're trying to do here is talk to people that even people in bands, we're really more about talking to people that are behind the scenes and make things happen. So we feel like of course you were on the top of our list when we thought about this, but you'll see interesting story like that. You're skating with these people, but you're also working production, for the show, and that's rad because you're making use of downtime. And as you know, there's a ton of it, and you have to be creative with it sometimes. And
it's a big hurry to wait,
Big
hurry to wait.
Yeah,
it's a big hurry to wait.
It's a hurry to wait business. Absolutely. I had a situation where in Montreal where there was one skateboard between two bands and everybody was messing around the back alley. It was really dark, and I rolled into a trick, my one trick I was going to do, not realizing the place was it was an asphalt driveway where the bus was, and it was super pitch black where I chose to try to do my trick, and I did not realize there were giant chunks of asphalt missing. So I buried the nose of the board.
I think I remember when this happened.
I was all like chunked. That's right, because we were working together then. I was on tour. I was tour managing, but But yeah, that was my one fateful skateboard story. So Adrian,
Yeah.
you've been okay. Let's do this, just so people realize the scope of this man's dedication. You you've been in bands. You're a front man. You've been in several punk bands, like I said, notable punk bands in the Northwest and stuff. You've toured. You've done all that. You been involved in throwing shows at a very organic, DIY level. You've also been a stage manager, for big shows. Um, and I've been noticing, what I've been really looking at your stuff lately for is, photography. And I don't want to like make it all about that, but I was wondering if you could just tell us about your current foray into photography, how you got into it and all that, and then maybe tell us about, the other parts of your life and music that got you to where you're at now. Is
Sure.
that too much to put on you?
No. Good. Well, I was taking concert photos a lot, only a little bit at the beginning, especially during Rainfest days, the big hardcore festival that would happen here.
Pre-COVID.
And I went every year, and I would shoot as many of the bands as I could, and all that. And then I'd shoot a little bit of skateboarding, and then after my car accident where I flew through the windshield in 2015, I could barely do anything with my body. So I was treating everything like physical therapy, and just trying to live out my normal life as well as doing physical therapy on top of it, trying to just stay positive and all that. And so I decided, there's only so many photographers that I see at these events that I go to and participate in, booking and whatnot, over the years at that time. And so I decided to, I'm going to start shooting more of these kids skating and try and capture some of the kids that are coming up more so than the kids that are already shredding, but at the same time, of course, capture the kids that are shredding. And so it's been quite the journey. Halfway between that point and now, my friend Jeff Daniels has come on with me. And so now we're like a 2-man team, go out every Sunday with different crews every Sunday. And it's just evolved into this thing because we, of course, we're still going out and shooting the events too, whether I'm putting it on or it's just an event that one of my friends' skate shops is putting on, or something, anything like that. Somebody hits me up like, "Hey, I'm doing this. You want to come down and take photos of this? And if I'm free, I'll go do it." And especially if there's skating going on.
That's awesome, man. Can you walk us through a few photos that I've got here?
Sure.
Cool. Let me pull them up. All right.
Nina, up and comer, recently entered the Olympics for Mexico City, or for Mexico, Team Mexico.
Wow.
Ripper. She's getting very, very good. She's
really
to her whole family. Most of her family skates. Her dad is an OG skateboarder from Mexico City.
Sick.
Good people all around. Good skateboarder.
Are they? Are they
Go ahead,
local?
Joel.
I'm sorry. I just want to know if she was local or not.
Bellingham.
Local to us.
Bellingham.
Yeah, Bellingham.
Oh, local to Ian. Okay.
But in skateboarding, that's might as well be Seattle because she's only
of course.
An hour and a half, 2-hour drive, really.
Sure.
On a Sunday.
Okay. I have a stupid question. It might be a stupid question. When you're shooting skating versus a concert, are you having to do something completely different, or are you in the same mode? Are you still kind of doing the same thing for both?
For concerts, I'll dabble a little bit without flash, but I'm not really a big fan of no flash because I need more money to get the right lenses for that. But I do have a couple lenses that are okay for that. But with flash photography, concerts versus skateboarding, I treat it like nighttime skating, where I do more longer exposures, and you can actually get more fancy with it and free, using the flash to freeze the individual, be it the front man or somebody skating, and it kind of goes hand in hand in that regard a little bit, especially at nighttime. During the day, it's a little bit harder, especially if you're in direct sunlight, but you don't see too many punk bands in direct sunlight. So
yeah, and I guess another question I have is like when you're shooting somebody who's skating, you can get really close, right?
Well, I've got an 8mm fisheye, which is
Okay.
so
Nice.
180 perspective. So from here to here, I don't know if you can see that in the frame, but
Yeah.
like from here to here, it's like you're still seeing this. So
Right. Okay.
I also have other lenses that are zero distortion. I've got a 9mm zero distortion that's primarily used for like taking photos of your house that you're trying to sell or some shit. But
Okay.
but for me, it works really good for skateboarding.
Right.
And
Awesome.
everything I take, I try and manipulate to see if it'll work, whatever lens I'm using, to see if I can get a good photo with it. And then if it does, then I leave it in my bag.
Cool.
Let's see a little bit more. All right. I really like this photo.
I was just gonna say this
say.
one's awesome.
Yeah, that's Kevin. He goes out with us pretty much every Sunday.
Awesome.
Transplant by way of Oklahoma and New Mexico.
Wow.
He's lived out here for a few years now. Good
Slightly
friend.
different topography. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a DIY pour right there. That's not sanctioned.
Cool.
Well, right.
Yeah.
I had that feeling, but dude, what I love about this photo is actually the broken concrete and all of that.
Yeah.
And then Kevin just flying over it. There's so much to be said and seen there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it helps when you have somebody like him who's a true ATV, all-terrain vehicle.
Yeah.
He street training and he rips.
Yeah. But was this were you drawn to shooting it this way or is this just like a happy accident?
No, this was intentional. Yeah, cool. trying to capture the rawness of the materials that he's skating.
Cool.
Yeah, you definitely pulled it off. This is a really
I love
cool
it,
picture.
man. Honestly, one of my favorites.
And that's actually from like 3 months ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so
still cold.
Yeah, that's why you got that heavy like winter in the foliage and everything, right? Like you got that dead of winter. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Eugene, old school ripper. Recently became friends with him. We do a lot of sessions at the Seattle Vert Ramp, and that's also part of the Grindline compound, Grindline skate parks.
Yeah.
And so it's private. Although you can Google it, it's still private. So don't show up unless you
right.
I
noticed the location on them every time it was in there. It said private location.
Yeah, I mean, if kids want to reach out, we can drop a pin. They want to come skate with us. That's fine. But we're not just gonna invite people to places that we don't own or
of
I don't
course.
want to be a burden on somebody else.
For sure.
I just love the photo.
Thanks.
It's got his form. You captured it perfectly. And he's got that old school.
Yep.
It kind of reminds me. I don't know if you knew this about me, Adrien, but I grew up in Upland, California, back when the pipeline was still intact.
Oh yeah.
And I used to go to school with Mickey Alba and Steve Alba and all. And so like when I saw this, I was like, man, it just reminds me of like either the first time I saw something like this pulled off perfectly at Pipe, or it reminded me like when my issue of Thrasher magazine would arrive at my house,
Yep.
You'd see a rad cover like that, you'd be like, yeah, and you just get so excited to get home from school. Yeah.
This one always makes me think of Lester Kasai and all those.
Yeah.
Days,
Totally, man. Totally. That's
poked and boned and held on.
Love it. Love that vibe, dude. Another
dude,
one.
I forget his name. He's out of the Olympia area. This is another private location, Mimas, owned by this guy Bryce and his family. That place used to be to the hilt with hay bales back in the day, but as the change with agriculture in that region and the flats there being flooded by the ocean, they had to change stuff over the years. So his family let him put the ramp in there. This was like a really fun Halloween event that he threw down on a Halloween day.
That's a fun picture. Like you get the motion and I don't know. That's a great composition on this one.
Honestly, I chose it for that reason. Like the composition and the photo itself was just cool as hell to me. It drew me, you know. Yeah.
And
that's the long exposure effect for sure.
Okay. The Halloween thing explains the axe sitting right there. Which
and the severed head.
Yeah. No, I know. That's a good point. The severed head. I was looking at that last night going, the severed head's cool. I can't wait to hear about it.
His name's Danielle.
I'm excited to get on to the next one. So the next ones are all going to be music.
Okay.
And since this is this is a show that focuses on people that are behind the scenes in the music scene. However, music and skating are totally the crossbones of the rock world. So,
especially this band.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So how about we get into this?
So what you're seeing here is Rich Kids in LSD, also known as RKL.
Yeah.
Joe, who also plays in Lagwagon. This was his band before he joined Lagwagon, obviously for reasons, people dying and all that from other lineups of RKL. But yeah, they got back together and they've been doing tour. They were doing tours with Tony from Municipal Waste, and now they got the guitarist of Dead Pioneers doing the vocals. And
sick.
He does really well. Super nice guy. They killed it.
Cool.
Joe and I have been friends for a little while now, and he did the album artwork for my band Good Touch.
Oh yeah.
Exceptional artist. He's always painting drum heads with his rad little RKL guys and selling them at the shows and stuff. But yeah, ripping band, and that was one hell of a night down at the airport tavern.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Tacoma. All right,
a couple weekends ago.
Yeah, that was recent, man. Yeah, that's one I'm bummed I missed.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it'd been cool if they could have brought a band with them, since they had like Good Riddance and all those really rad bands playing in California. But up here is pretty cool because it was just like each show in Everett and Tacoma had locals that made sense,
That's
huge.
Honestly, that's a great opportunity. There's another topic on the horizon because, it used to be shows like that would guarantee that there'd be spots for locals. And I definitely, in the future, we're going to talk about like how that's changed.
I can definitely attest to the fact that it is more difficult now to try to convince people to let locals open shows,
which is ridiculous.
I mean, it's totally ridiculous. And
it gives your production manager the opportunity to build a band, and that's what people forget. Like, if you want a local would draw, well, maybe give them a show on a big bill to get that extra draw and for the next show.
Yep.
I mean, I'm glad honestly, that's cool. We can scratch the surface on it because I agree. Actually, tomorrow I'm running production for Terror here in Seattle, and I really enjoyed what they're doing. Because this is just happening so much. They don't like to play without locals. And they've always been that way, and they've always stood for that. And then like going through certain channels like agents and big promoters and stuff, I guess that sort of, I don't have the whole story, so we can talk about it some other time, but it sort of fell through the cracks, and they were like, no, man, we don't play without locals, which, again, such few bands with that kind of reach that stand by that. So big props to Terror. But anyway, so I am producing a show with them for a sizable promoter where this sort of thing, I guess, between the agent and everything and mechanics that we'll get into in the future episodes, somehow or another that sort of got lost a little bit, but the band caught it and went, look, we don't do shows without locals. And they said, but don't worry, Mr. Agent, don't worry, Mr. Promoter, we'll handle it ourselves. And they do. So they set up the local in every town, which is like, dude.
But they have a connection here,
Of course.
And you got all the dudes from Odd Man Out, and obviously you see Chopping Block on there, which has Matt in the band, and he's been in several notable straight edge hardcore bands back in the day, and The Answer and all that. And so they have connections with these bands and these relationships. Right. And so it just makes sense.
Oh no, they do.
And keep it organic, because that's what hardcore is all about.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Yep.
And that's the thing though. When you have that kind of reach and you came up in that kind of a scene, it is up to you to help those others who are coming up. And honestly, we hope to push this on this show a lot. That whole mantra,
Yep.
let's help future generations and future kids and stuff, find this stuff and get into it and be productive with it, because I can tell you right now, I wasn't always productive with it. So but
I think this all kind of ties in too, because like, not only do we want to encourage kids to start bands so that they can open for their favorite bands or whatever, but we want to show that you don't have to just be in a band to be in this world. You can
throw your
be a
own shows.
photographer. Yeah, you can throw your own shows. You can work production at a venue. You could be a bartender, whatever, and be around this because it is fun. Like, at the end of the day, I think most of us do this because it's more fun than working in an office.
Dude, it is that, but you know what? It's imperative, because this is one of the main releases for young kids to get their angst out, to express themselves. This is one of the few channels still listening to young kids, and run by young kids. So I want young kids to understand the world they're getting into, because what happens is, I started the same way, throwing my own shows, backyard stuff, whatever. And then as you start going up the chain, because you want your shows to reach more people, there's nothing wrong with that. Then you start hitting the business end of things, and
that's where you get messed
something
up.
We hope to do, is to help people navigate through that. We should move on though.
I was just gonna say, let's get back to the photography.
But I'm glad we diverted. Honestly.
Yeah.
And Adrien, thank you for sharing your opinion on that stuff.
We're gonna have to have you back to talk about that subject.
I would love to, if you would be down. I'd love to have you back. We could do like a panel discussion about this kind of stuff.
I'm down. That'd be awesome.
All right. So, what do we have here?
It's the same show, RKL. As you can see, that fits the mood of the show right there, with that kid fucking screaming his head off right there.
And the arm behind him. The arm behind him is also good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I don't know. I don't have much else to say about that one.
That's fine.
It captures the energy.
Yeah. I agree, though, that the kids had the ways angled. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So fun fact is this photo right here. I was in between a bicycle barricade rack that they had as the barricade and the stage. And as I was taking photos up close like this, I look over and there's another photographer videoing or taking photos. And I see him start to get crushed. I'm like, okay, I got a couple seconds to get my shot before I start getting crushed. And then and then the staff, I could feel hands lightly grab my jacket and slowly pull me back as I'm like trying to get the shots.
Hell yeah.
I knew one of them from that very moment, but it was pretty funny. Really good staff. They handled it well. They needed better barricade, but
yeah. But I was gonna say, it almost sounds like a Larry Bird fadeaway jumper of punk rock photography. You know what I mean?
Well, and having run production at Showbox for so many years, I'm like, at the end of the night, I told one of the guys working the front of the stage, I'm like, hey man, great staff, great venue, you guys doing a killer job, but you guys need a better barricade. You guys need my show boxes. Figure out which one they have, because that's probably the perfect size for this room. Like, figure it out.
Man, that's it's funny because you're still and this is kind of like, I just want to say real quick, kind of what inspired all this is that Adrien, you and I, towards the end of last summer, got to go together to a hardcore show in a record store, and. Honestly, dude, I'm not going to lie. At my age, it's been a while since I've done that kind of thing, and I had the best time in the world. But what I was really in awe of was watching you get your shots, while these kids were just like full-on hardcore dancing in a space that's about 10 feet from wall to wall. No, it's bigger than that. Maybe like 12 to 14 feet wall to wall. It was nuts.
with
Oh.
those record,
Those
filing
record bins.
on
The
protruding out.
corners of the record bins kept jamming my kidneys.
I got trapped against one trying to take photos, and it was just super awkward. And I was like, almost panicked, and I was like, wait a minute, the song should be almost over.
Right. That's cool.
Then I moved.
I appreciate your like letting us know what you're feeling and stuff, because
Yeah.
it's like, I was standing, pretty close to you most of the time, and like I'm sitting there just getting bumped around and tossed around. It was great, but like just feeling those record bins in my back, and I'm like, damn, Adrian's just getting the shots despite all this shit. It's like I got to talk to him about it someday. So here we are.
Yeah,
Here we are.
I actually am sitting on video footage from that entire show that I'm trying to edit a couple songs from each. I had this computer we're actually talking about right now is not operational technically. It's linked up to my old email.
Yeah,
So I just got a new one, and so I'm gonna next couple of weeks here. I'm gonna try and finish that, and then send it off to Satirios, and then I've got the entire set of Pettibone's band, so I'm gonna make his whole set and edit after I do the short edit.
Awesome.
killer. I also want to give a quick shout out to the people that Adrian's mentioning. Satirios, his record store, Apollo Exos Records in Everett, Washington, is where the show was. It's an amazing place. It's a bottle shop or a bar with cool beers and a record store. He's doing great work up there. He's about to start a new venue, I think, or something. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, and then Pettibone, meaning John Pettibone, his band Harris played that show, and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, Raised Wrong.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jesus, I screwed up. Raised Wrong played that show, which is more fitting because it was a hardcore show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I have another question about photography. I assume that maybe you prefer the hardcore, like in your face, in the pit photography versus the behind the barricade or between the barricade and the stage type of stuff. But is there something, first of all, is that true? And is there something you can do with that space and being kind of protected from the audience with your photography that you can't do at like a hardcore show where you're just right in the middle of it?
Well, with the hardcore show and I'm right in the middle of it, I can use my fisheye or my ultra wide lenses and get like the shots I really want. Like recently I shot Suzalo, Rocky Balalado's band with Rudy from Gatsby's American Dream on drum.
Oh, cool.
And did Showbox, and I brought a really long lens and I shot from the distance because I was trying to get certain shots that I envisioned, with the Showbox logo on the wall over here and the band's here and the lights and something that as an artist just trying to make something cool for the band. And
Sure.
it's always experimental, get a new lens. Hey, I want to go shoot a band with this, see how it works. And then for me it doesn't matter if it's an indie rock band, a punk band, whatever. It just I adapt with my lenses to try and get the best shots that I can, as well as getting some pre-shows, pre-sweat before they'll sweat it out, band photos as well.
Yeah, and I think maybe people don't realize when you're doing photography at like these larger venues like the Showbox, you have to get a press pass, you have to coordinate with people ahead of time, and a lot of times they only let you shoot for what is it, the first couple songs?
It's usually the first 3 songs, or after the first 3 songs, no flash. I believe the usual rule, but then it depends on the band.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. And that's why sometimes when you show up to a venue, there's a sign at the front door that says no professional photography, no this or that, because it's not necessarily always up to the venue. It's up to individual bands that are on tour that have preferences for stuff. So don't get mad at us.
Another thing I've been doing lately is going out with bands and doing the pre-sweat shots. And then I go to the show with them, and then I shoot the show. And then after the show, freeform, like just like whatever happens. If I get more shots of them or as a band or whatever, and then they pay me for my time to come out, and then I just give them the photos. And then and then they want to use them in something, then we can talk costs aside from that. And if a label wants to use them, then they can pay me. But other than that, they'll have photos to use for their promotions or whatever, you know.
That's really cool.
So that's how you're okay. And so are you like? Let me ask you a question. Are you basically getting commissioned, or how are you?
They just
that kind of stuff.
hit me up and be like, "Hey, what will this cost for you? Get me to come out and shoot this show?" And I'll be like, "Oh, well, it's over here in this part of town, and you know, a lift ride will cost me this to carry all my gear, so times 2 on that, and then that's good for me as long as they can cover me getting there and back.
Yeah.
Then that's fine."
So you are essentially being sought after.
A few, yeah. Like I did it with me Grimlock recently. They're like a Epiphat.
Oh yeah,
techie punk band.
Yeah.
Some friends of mine, and that was really fun. You know, got them their what I consider a mall grab photos, and then I had their like actual like punk rock looking photos. You know, so they can have their amp alternative press magazine looking photos, and then they can have their like actual aesthetic punk photos. You know.
Speaking of punk, look at this photo.
Oh yeah. That was a very fun night. I actually gave Civ a board that I cut out in grip tape of the Gorilla Biscuits Gorilla.
I saw that.
Yeah,
saw that.
They were tripping. I hope it made it back.
I don't remember if I almost chose that photo. I don't know if I don't know why I didn't, but yeah, I was looking at that photo last night a lot. Yeah, it was cool as hell.
Yeah, for those that don't see it, the Gorilla Biscuits Gorilla face is the whole middle of the board.
And then you made that board? I mean, you did the design, the Gorilla?
Yep. It took back then. It was the early aughts, so that took me like 30 hours to cut all the grip out and put it on the board.
Damn.
Oh God, you know,
many nights.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was going to say at the end of this, we'll talk about some of your design stuff too, because you know you are a man of many talents.
Absolutely.
This photo, I love this photo. You just have a good, like the capturing of the crowd and the singer to me is what it's all about.
And then you can see the dude there with the beard.
Yes.
Like, center people. That's my friend Chris.
Oh yeah,
he's an old school Jack, and that explains that show right there. The look on his face, he's so damn happy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Just looking right at me too. Hilarious.
That's really cool.
Okay, and I threw this one in because you know I love this guy.
We all know this guy,
and this show was legendary.
Yep. Yeah. Oh God. Quitting Time. That's what it was. Quitting Time. It's him and Ryan from Damage Done. New band, and drummer of Brainsick, and then Dean from Dean and the Quitters.
Right.
Yeah, really good seaweed vibe, kind of pop punk, but gruff.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Benny was in the Hollow Points, which were the early 2000s, very like groundbreaking like street punk band. So
when I started promoting shows, the Hollow Points, I was like, man, if I can book the Hollow Points, I've made it.
Dude, I was friends with them when they were called the St. Louis Smiles.
Oh shit.
I bet Adrien remembers that.
Vaguely.
Yeah, that was right before Hollow Points. Okay. And so I didn't choose this photo to embarrass you, but you're with this.
No, that's not an embarrassing photo at all.
Yeah, no, it's not an embarrassing photo. I'm just saying, like, I wasn't trying to like put. I wanted a photo of you. I wanted to choose a photo of you in action, but then I saw this and I go, this won me over, and I actually titled it "Adrien with some guy named Tony."
Well, and then the best part is the guy on the left with the pink hair. That's Kevin Staub.
That's who?
Kevin Staub.
Oh, like the skater?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember him.
He had the pirate graphic.
Yes. I remember him.
Yeah.
Wow. So here you are.
Best friends. So I just happened to run into them, and I ended up talking to him more.
Oh, I'm sure. But
awesome.
I mean, look at the company you're keeping here. It's not like lightweight in any way.
Yeah, that's Backstage too. So like not the backstage, but the backstage that I was allowed in at Ohana.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
That's
awesome.
That's super awesome. And did you say that was in Ohana?
Yeah, down in Dana Point.
Okay.
Yeah.
At first, I thought you were talking about Japan. I was like, what?
No, it was
Well,
just
what was this at? What was this event, if you don't mind?
Ohana's a music festival that happens every year.
Okay.
And this particular one, Pearl Jam played for 2 nights.
Ah,
And then Bad Nerves was the highlight of that weekend for
I
sure.
see.
Nice.
Is it?
Mixed genre festival. So
I
every year's a little bit different. It's Eddie Vedder and some other folks came together to start it, and it's just still evolving into some shit. But there's elements of punk in there, but and then there's indie rock, Americana, some Mexican music. Like it's kind of all over the place.
Wow.
Cool.
Really?
Yeah, it was insane. Like some of the bands I saw, like I did not expect to be standing at the front of the stage watching the band at that moment, going, "Holy crap! I don't know who the hell this band is, but they're killing it." You know, and it's not my kind of music, but it's really good. You know, like
No, of course. That's amazing. And is that fair to say that you had that adventure due to your job with 10 Club?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And so for those
Perks of the industry.
Adrien also works for 10 Club and has for a long time now, right?
Yeah, since like 2007.
Yeah, it's
Just a few years.
Yeah, it's a few years. You're about to hit your 20th.
I am.
Yeah. Wow. That's super dope,
I'm
dude.
a warehouse guy though, so you know.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I'm just a warehouse guy, you know.
Whatever.
I've done graphic for a shirt, and I've done some of the graphics for the mystery boxes. But other than that, I'm just warehouse guy.
Yeah, whatever though, man. I mean, you're in that photo from it, so that's cool as hell. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like it doesn't matter where. That's the thing about this show is we want to talk to the people that sweep the floors, sell the tickets, whatever. Because I know that you have, Adrien, but I was going to say I've done probably every crappy job there is to do in like putting on a show.
Oh yeah,
and I don't think there's any shame in that game whatsoever. I think, being support staff, we don't get a lot of people wanting to ask us about stuff, and that's why this show exists. But I think, and you ask most artists that I've ever talked to agree that without the support staff, none of this can happen. So
absolutely.
Did anyone else have the esteemed privilege to work the snack shack at Studio 7 besides me? Microwaving burritos and selling monsters all night. I was your guy. That was my only opportunity to work in the industry, and I took it. I said, I don't give a crap.
Is that how you got in?
Yes. Yeah, because I was allowed to book shows there if I also worked in the snack shack. And so I said, screw it.
All right. We're going to get into more of that next time.
Someday.
But I want to know, Adrien, before we get into this, we're going to talk about your design stuff too. But real quick, tell us about some interesting things you've had to do for the sake of live music production. Like any shitty jobs or any weird, like anything stick out in your mind?
Yeah, there's what's that band? Trapped
with the T at the end?
No, the other or they did the Spider-Man song for the Spider-Man movie, and the rest of their songs were all cover songs.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know.
It had a dumb name like that. Anyway, it's not important, but I was working Crocodile, the original Crocodile.
The original Crocodile.
And it's right before I came back, started working production for you, stage managing.
Okay.
And end of a 2-night thing, and they're like, Stephanie comes up to you, she's like, "Hey, I have a really horrible request to ask of you." I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" She's like, "There's a bucket in the green room. Can you take that outside and pour it in the alley?" And I'm like, naive as fuck. I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And then so I go in there, and it's this fucking 5-gallon bucket filled to the rim with piss.
Oh my
And
god.
so I had to navigate
Oh,
from the green room through the middle of the floor to the hallway to the back alley without spilling it. And it was
dude,
like
did you do it
super
without
heavy.
spilling it, or did you spill it all over the tub?
I got it out without any spills, but I went really slow and just.
You're a hero. You're a fucking hero.
It's fucking disgusting, man.
These are the unsung stories, and this is literally the
This is
backstage stuff that
exactly.
we talk about at venues. Who wants to clean up the barf
I want to
tonight?
do it again.
Kind of stuff.
Dude, I mean, we'll get into it later, but I picked up, I got a very cool phone call at 1 a.m. at Studio 7 when I was literally picking up vomit. And it was turned out to be one of the biggest tours I ever got paid to do. So
Hell yeah.
There you go.
that's why we're going to do this shit. That's why we're going to talk about this and Adrien, we really would love to have you on a lot more and, talk about like, different these topics and, but yeah, it's because people, only the people that are there know the shit that we get into. So I'd like other people to know. Anyway, let's move on to this, I guess.
This is a funny story. So
Okay.
this particular graphic was designed by my friend Brian Osterbeck. And we were sitting at my friend Allie's place and watching the game. And I'm not a sports person, as you all know. And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, I keep looking over, and he's got this shirt, and then like on the sleeve had this graphic, and then all over was all these other graphics he had made, like for the Seahawks. And I'm like, but halfway through, it was looking like they were going to win, and I'm like, hey man, if they win, I'm going to take that graphic and make a T-shirt out of it. And he's like, it was early aughts of Don't Sleep Inc. So it's like,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah. Fuck it, go for it. I'm like, all right. And then they won. I'm like, well, I guess I'm making T-shirts. And so since then, I did 2 different runs of this on black and blue, and different blue than that one. And then I went through and I made a black and white version and made a stamp out of it of the same graphic right there. And then I stamped like a couple of hundred sheets of paper until I got the perfect one. And then I screened that into Photoshop and set it up. And then I did a whole nother run of Seattle Tennessee shirts, yellow on camo mash style, yellow on black. And I did some cooking aprons and pillowcases. And it was all came out right after my car accident. And
Right.
the way everything worked out. But that's the one I made since they won again.
Cool.
Man, it's a legendary shirt. I think it's that. No, I don't. I have one. It was one of the early incarnations, and I used to wear it on tour a lot, and I used to get all kinds of comments. It was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, good or bad, right?
Huh? Yeah,
good or bad.
Good or bad. No, people thought that was dope as hell. They were like, "Oh, I wish our town did something cool like that." No, it was always amazing comments. But yeah, so is Don't Sleep Inc. Is that basically like your design, or is that just an overall branding thing?
It's kind of my outlet branding. So I've put out like 5 boards, most of them with woodshop skates out of Montana. He hand presses them, and then I do the graphic or I pay somebody else to do the graphic. And then so my boards are made by skateboarders, 4 skateboarders, and then the shapes are mine. We work on the shapes. There's only one board that was a collab with Black Market Skates at the very beginning, and it was a zip zinger shape from Crooked. And then I did the Killer Cruiser graphic on it with the orca whale graphic. That one, yeah. So that was on a cruiser board, which was hilarious because it's a killer whale.
Yeah,
killer cruiser. So Killer Cruiser. Yeah. Oh, there's a sticker pack I put out about a year ago, and then to the right of that's a cassette that I put out for the Marginal Way Skate Park. That's all skate rock. Also available on Bandcamp, ripandridebandcamp.com.
Okay.
.bandcamp.com.
That brings me to something I want to know about Marginal Way.
Well,
we haven't.
Ironically enough, I know this will come out afterwards, but this Sunday we have Cinco de Margo coming out this Sunday. It's our annual event that we do. Raffle, best trick, highest air, longest grind, tacos all day, and good vibes. It's gonna be
Hell
really
yeah.
fun.
How long have you been involved with that?
Okay, so Marginal Way, the band that I was in, started in 2003, and in 2004, I found out that Marginal Way, the skate park, was a go, and I said, well, okay. I approached them and said, look, I'm in the band Marginal Way. There's no way I cannot be involved because I look like a chump. So how about I throw some benefits, and then we can have some parties down here and raise some money for the park. And they're like, yeah, do whatever you want. And I'm like, all right. So here we are 22 years later.
That's
And
awesome.
halfway through, my friend Sean Bishop did all the art for the posters for me. And then at one point he was kind of too busy working for Lip Tech and whatnot with his designs. And so I kind of took that over. And so aside from the other folks in our collective that put on events down there, I pretty much handle all the designs as well, including the t-shirts.
And may I ask, but with Margin, but you're actually like pretty involved, like, but you're more than, you're actually like involved in administrative level with Marginal Way Skate
Yeah,
Park?
I work with the city, like Aaron, myself, and Aaron Demon. She's handles a lot of logistics on the.
So you like sit on a
paperwork
board
side.
or something?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, but you just sit on a board or something?
Yeah, it's a collective, like it is technically a board, and I guess I don't know if I the right word be president for it, but I
Right.
mean I kind of handled that kind of role with it, where I'm trying to be the mediator between everybody, because not everybody is good at communicating. So I try and keep the communication flow going and make everybody happy, and whether it's getting the right bands on the bill and kicking the wrong bands off, that kind of stuff, because not everybody's allowed to play the park because of whatever reason. So there's politics in there. I just try and see.
You got to handle that. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't envy you, but I also think you are like the right person because you got a good head on your shoulders.
We recently just did a walkthrough with the city. It was a WS dot S dot, the city planner, Sales City Light, the guy running the operation, because they're going to do a retrofit on the bridge, and so they're going to do our side first, but they're going to have to come in, replace all the drainage, which means they're going to have to cut in on sections of our park to get to that to replace, and then we'll have to go back in and fix things back up. Luckily, we left them easements for the most part, so hopefully only the decks get torn out that we can easily report.
Damn.
But afterwards, we quoted them as saying that we should be good for another 20, 30 years after this. So they're going to do our side after the World Cup's done. They're going to do our side first, so the retrofitting and pipe change outs, and then do the rest of the bridge after that, so we can open up for operations again. But after June sometime, or end of June or so, the park will be closed for about 6 to 8 months.
Damn. Wow.
Okay. Like fenced.
But that's like a huge undertaking. So yeah, that's not even that long considering.
Yep. And then exciting news that I'm excited to talk to you guys about. We were approached recently by individuals from the University of Washington with the First Nations, and we're going to be hosting and helping put on the first annual punk rock powwow coming up. And it's dealing with the Salish tribes, and we're going to have booths and flatbread and the whole 9 yards. I've got one local band, the Scoffs, on there, and then they're going to bring some bands to the table, and then we're just going to make it work. And who's got the best war cry? Like it's gonna be fun. And then,
when is that?
That is gonna be June 14th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that's at the park?
That's at the park. Yeah.
Sweet, man.
Wow. Marginal Way Skate Park, everybody.
We'll have I think Montana Pool Services on board with Jeff Ament. He builds parks and he builds them on the reservations out in Montana. And so I reached out to him to see if he wanted to be a part of this, and he's on board to an extent. And then we're just going to do the regular board or shop sponsors aside from that, and then move on.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Next year I want to hit it hard though.
That's awesome.
I want to get Dead Pioneers, 1876, and all the actual bands that couldn't do it this year because it was such late notice.
Yeah. Hey, it's never too late for an extravaganza like that. That'll be amazing.
Well, and it's exciting. It's like a new avenue of punk rock, and it's, you know, the first people, you know, like
yes,
and their tribes coming together to hang out with us. I think it's fucking awesome.
Me too. That's really, really
it
cool.
Reminds me of just to date myself again. It reminds me of early days when I used to read Flipside at fanzine, and the first 7 seconds interview I ever read was, and they were talking about, because they were from Reno and they were playing punk rock, and they were like, "Well, who's your audience? Who comes to see you?" And they go, "Tribal people, First Nations people, all the indigenous people. They're like, Kevin Seconds is like, yeah, that's our fan base." And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. I'm like 13, you know, but I'm like, that's awesome because it made sense to me, because punk rock is for the underdog. And
well, a lot of us here, I mean, I know I'm like a little bit older than some. I just turned 52, but when I was a kid, I went to a lot of powwows because we had a lot of powwows here. And so my mom obviously made it a point to educate me, you know, and so between Northwest, I went to a whole lot of powwows as a kid, and then even found myself at powwows on road trips with my mom in South Dakota, you know, and you know, there was moments I would find myself hanging out with the chief of the tribe, not knowing who the hell he is, and he's like explaining to me the stories behind all the garb everybody's wearing and all the colors and, you know, what everything means. And,
That's cool.
To be able to retain some of that as a kid's pretty cool, you know.
See, I didn't even know that about you, and we've known each other for a couple of decades at least.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, if I may, on this one. I don't know if everybody's ready for this, but I wanted to ask you, so we've covered like a lot of things that you've been involved in, and I think we've conveyed, you know, what I was hoping to convey was, you know, all the different roles you've had in over your lifetime in punk rock and skating and stuff. Where do we go from here? What's happening? What's next?
I mean, for me, you know, I work for 2 skate parks doing events. So when the last event ends, I turn around and start thinking about those events for the next year, because it's some of them you have to ask certain bands so far in advance to make sure they can actually play. And so my year's kind of a churn. It just keeps churning, you know. And so this year's a lot more busy than I expected, because we've got the powwow landing on our laps, which is great. But and then River City Skate Park, last couple of years, we've been, that's in South Park. We've been doing Go Skate Day on June 21st, and that usually lands on like a, you know, Friday, Saturday, or whatever. And then this year it's landing actually on a Sunday, which is, you know, the day we always go out anyway. So I'm really excited for that. And then we have Sopa Stupa at the River City Skate Park, which is the South Park Summer Party, and we've done that for a couple of years now. It started as our normal yearly thing we were doing down there, and it's just evolved now into link up with Sopa Stupa, because it just makes sense. You know, the warmest time of the year. They have stage bands over there. We have bands over here. You know, each stage is on the other side of the neighborhood from each other, and luckily it's not too far. And then last year was really cool, is they had rickshaw drivers riding everybody around for free. And so you could go back and forth from the stage, and it didn't have to, you know, you could tip them out if you want, but you didn't have to, you know. And they were super stoked and having a good time too. And so we're doing the next one again this year, and I'm working on that right now.
That's awesome.
It's dope as hell. That's awesome.
Well, where can people find stuff you're working on, things that you want people to know about?
Well, you can follow the River City Skate Park Instagram. That's a good one. Don't Sleep Inc. Instagram also. Those are kind of the 2 main ones for that park. Marginal Way, of course. Follow Marginal Way Skate Park and myself. I mean, we try and promote as best we can, you know, and posters do go up at the shops and around town. So
cool.
You know, you just got to kind of pay attention, I guess. You know, I know it's hard to do in this.
Don't sleep.
Don't sleep. Perfect. All right. Well, I don't want, you know, I think we're I feel great about this first time. Like I said, I really hope we can talk more about future topics and stuff.
One last thing I'd like to end on here,
Yeah,
which you had a thing in the byline here where you were saying, things that like stories of random occurrences that I would have to deal with working production.
Yeah.
And the two of my favorite was being approached before the show and saying, "Hey, would you be personal security night?" And I'm like, "For who?" They're like, "Jared Leto." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I know people hate that guy or whatever. I don't give a shit. Yeah, that's fine." It'd be pretty cool. And then 2 times was personal security for Juliette Lewis from Juliette Lewis and the Licks, aka the actress everybody knows.
Yeah.
And all that. And those were my favorites. Just she was great. Women trying to get her to like sign her tits and shit, and she's like, "Sorry, honey, I don't sign flesh." Like,
Oh wow,
it's those awesome memories I have from those days. So there's some of the positive ones of just random weirdness that I would run into.
there's a lot of that in what we do.
Yeah,
right?
the end all be all would be Matt Hensley hanging out with my skate god.
Yes,
Molly one
absolutely.
night, Graceland days, and him and I hung out till about 5-6 in the morning drinking and he told me so many crazy stories from the H Street days, and it was just too cool, and he's such a great guy. And yeah,
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. Yeah, I mean, shit like that will happen and in this world, and at the same time, yeah, you could be walking out a giant bucket of piss 1 minute.
hanging out with your god the next. Yeah.
That's why Ian and I feel like this is a cool thing to do, because there's so many people. I mean, our whole world obviously is our friends and everything have done this with us, but we realize that it's just a tiny little speck in the universe, and a lot of people have no idea about the things that happen and how you get into these gigs and so forth. So Adrien, thanks a lot for
man, thank you very
all your
much
time on this one. I really look forward to following up, and we can do some stuff maybe before your next big event or whatever. And as far as I know, you have an event this weekend, and this won't be out, but on our Facebook page or whatever, we can share the flyer, the show flyer. Nice. Yeah, cool. For sure. No, we're all about like supporting what people are doing, especially people that come on this show. Like, it's all about that. So, yeah, we'll do that after we wrap up. And again, thanks for your time, dude. It was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great learning things about you that I didn't know.
Well, thanks for having me.
Hey, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll catch up and after we wrap this.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, Adrien.
Thank you, dude.
Cheers.
Well, that was pretty freaking cool,
dude. That superseded.
We could have gone for 3 hours, I think.
Oh, easy. Which is why, I'm just glad we did this, because I want, everybody that's going to watch this to meet Adrien, know what he's about, because I think he's going to be an instrumental voice in a lot of things that affect live events and so forth. I mean, he always is. So I would like to, in the future, when we talk, especially when we take on topics and stuff, he's a guy I would like to, have with us and hear his perspective, because the stuff he does is he does a lot of DIY stuff and does a lot of organic stuff, and it affects the youth. So,
and he's a professional managing skate parks and dealing with the city. Like,
what? Yeah. So you see why I was pretty excited, and hopefully I didn't. Apologies for talking over him too much. I just get super excited, but yeah.
Same.
I'm going to work on that. But anyway,
cool.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome.
Next time, what are we talking about?
Business. Oh, yeah. You want to talk about next time? Let's talk about next time. there's some topics we were talking about. Ian and I were talking about guests and stuff, and we have guests lined up. But you know what? There's some topics that are really going to have a huge impact on what we do, and this entire world that we're in. And I would really like to talk to you about those. But you know what mine is? The one I'm really on right now is the the alarmist shattering of over 11,000 venues and meeting spaces in the UK since COVID.
Yeah,
that's hugely important, man. Because
I honestly think we can fill a whole episode with that, and I think we should, because I think it deserves it.
I have a friend who I told you about.
Yep.
Who actually I tour managed him. He is pretty active in bringing attention to this matter to people, and I would like to talk to him. So we'll get into that.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah. I think I want to just double down on that topic, because we both still work in this world. I work at a venue, so to me, it is super important, and I see a lot of the issues that we're all dealing with in this world. So I wouldn't mind just doubling down on that. So we're going to talk about how this live music industry is being impacted by a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yeah, I think that's honestly where I want to go.
Okay.
So
that's next week.
All right. And yeah, I just want to put, I want to talk about some stuff next week and then put pins in those topics, and then getting people that I would like, we would like to hear from, talk about these topics. We'll start getting them on here. And because I really want to open this conversation up, man, because that's no joke, dude. Like, as a person whose childhood was kind of like saved by DIY spaces and punk spaces and all these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Often I don't want to get too sound too much like I don't want to get too into the emotional part, but like when things aren't going well at home and you've got a record store and a skateboard and a few friends, it's like, dude, it's everything. And that stuff's important to me, because the first places I ever went to see shows were not concert venues, proper ones anyway. My first show was at somebody's house that had horse property, and there were a bunch of cool punk bands playing. Certainly like 1981, and then my second show was at a beat up old space in downtown Pomona, California, called 12XU, and it's legendary. A lot of great bands went through there.
Nice.
I look forward to having one of the instrumental people of that space come on and talk to us. He's probably one of LA Punk's most foremost like archivists. His name is Bob Durkee. So hopefully,
definitely. We'll dive into all that. My first show was 1994. Sunny Day Real Estate at DV8, because my dad was cool and took me to the show. And after the show, hung out in the club. The lights are all on, the drummer's bleeding, and he's signing my dad's like record thing. And that was, for me, that's one of my earliest memories of live music and stuff. It was obviously my first show, but just being able to be there after the show and see, this dark club is now lit up and there's garbage everywhere. And
it looks like hell.
What?
Absolutely.
Anyway,
I love that.
We'll get into those stories down the road, but thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Again, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section of the video, and see you next time. We're going to be
buy us a coffee if you want.
Buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/backstage with Ian and Joel if you feel like it. Massive thank you to Adrien for doing this.
Absolutely, man.
I thought this was really, really cool. So we'll see you next time. Stay tuned. See you backstage.
Later. All right.